Hi, Bob Mickey Fortune here, Sports Scene 6, and I'll tell you what, we've had some exciting stuff happening in Howard County sports in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. The update on the big showdown coming up in 3 weeks between Oakland Mills football team and Wild Lakes football team, everything's still intact. Oakland Mills easily victors last weekend, and Wild Lake easy victors as well. So we are heading for that big showdown in 3 weeks, in which we're going to probably see two undefeated teams slug it out for a county football championship and for the right to go on to the states and probably be the upcoming state champion in the coming year. We also had a real big soccer match last week, and I won't talk too much about that because one of the participants in that match is here with us tonight, and I'm sure they'd love to talk about it more than I'd love to talk about it. So we're going to give them a chance to talk about it too. Also, later on the show tonight, we present the newest member of the Sports Scene 6 family, who's going to be a regular feature on Sports Scene 6, and I think you're going to be real pleased to hear and see what she has to say. Couldn't be a better day to tape on today, and it couldn't be a better set of guests today either, because today, featured in the USA Today this morning, was a former Howard County soccer player from Oakland Mills High School, Dante Washington, who is the leading scorer in Division I soccer this season, as he was his freshman year playing at Radford University. And fortunately, we have to talk about Dante, and not only Dante, but some other Oakland Mill alumni who have distinguished themselves in college soccer. We have the coach of the Oakland Mills soccer team, Don Shea. Along with him, we have three of his players from the Oakland Mills High School squad. They are Malcolm Gillian, Clint P.A., and Sean Ray. Well, you must be doing something right over there because Dante Washington is the leading scorer in Division I soccer.
Well, I can't really take all the credit because I only saw him from the high school level. And from talking with Dante, he started playing in the neighborhood leagues in Sac and Thunder Hill. And he started playing when he was, I believe, 5 or 6 years old, and came all the way through the SAC programs, and then played on travel teams. And I was lucky enough then to have him his junior and senior year at Oakland Mills, and then he's gone on to Radford, on to bigger and better things. He's with the U.S. national team now, and he's scoring a lot of goals.
In fact, they said that he's almost a cinch to make the '92 Olympic team.
That's true. From what I had talked to him as well as a couple of the coaches in that this summer, they said that a lot of the offense in that they will pattern towards him. They finally found an American that can strike the ball and put it in the goal. And I believe he scored a goal and an assist, I think, against Canada was one of, I think it was like his coming out game that he really proved that he can play with the top-notch competition.
And who knows what could have happened, because from what I understand from the article was that he was injured last year as a sophomore, and he'll get to play again. I mean, he'll keep his eligibility, but he had to sit out a year because of a broken leg. And his coaches, according to the article, said that it just did wonders for changing his perspective and made him a smarter player as a result. And so obviously, like we do for all of our other athletes who go on after great Howard County careers and go on to other things, we want to congratulate Dante Washington on what he's done so far and wish him the best luck. Keep up the good work. Keep bringing that glory to Howard County. Not only that, though, but you got a couple of other of your former players who this week also have distinguished themselves. Tell us about that.
Okay, Brian Boosie was in this morning's paper, and he is Big East Player of the Week, and he recorded two shutouts this week, and that gives him a grand total of, I believe it's 5, which doesn't sound like that many after he had, I think, 47 at Oakland Mills. But his freshman year at Boston College, he didn't record a shutout at all. So he's beginning to build a little bit of a program up there at Boston College. And he said to me, we talked after the Centennial game here, we called him, and he said to me that they're in the hunt for a playoff bid. So he got a Big East Player of the Week. And then Chris Love, about a week and a half ago, who graduated 2 years ago on that same team with Brian Boosie, he made the all-tournament team for the Loyola tournament here, and he's up at University of Hartford in Connecticut.
Well, I'll tell you, despite the fact that there is a lot of talent individual on those players, I think a lot of credit's got to go to you as a coach and to your program for turning out players like that. And with all the, we promise we're not going to talk about anything controversial tonight involving the Oakland Mills soccer team, because all that's already been hashed and rehashed, and there's not anything we're going to be able to do or change anything about it. But bottom line, those people who need to know or need to see, look at what's coming out of Oakland Mills high school soccer programs, and look at what's making itself be known nationally, and that tells you the kind of character and dedication that this coach has to this team and the kind of things that he does for this team, and in return, the things that the players that graduate from his school do. And then think about some of the rulings that you make. You, I'll get fired before this is all over. Let's talk to the players. You guys want to hear us talk about this stuff. You want to talk about you, and I don't blame you because you're having a good season. Seated the coach's right is Sean Ray. Sean, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm a senior at Oakland Mills. I played varsity since I was a sophomore. I'm defense. I'm the stopper, which is the most offensive defender on the field.
You're the person they look to do the scoring.
No,
You're the most offensive?
most offensive defender.
Oh, offensive defender. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I thought stopper was a defensive position, but you like to take, you like to be aggressive about it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And how much of a part did you play in this big victory over Centennial this past week?
I think it's just a total team effort.
Spoken as a true team player. Okay. Have you always been a stopper?
Yeah, pretty much always in the defense.
I always said many times on the show that I really respect somebody that plays defense because, you know, a lot of times guys do get their name in the paper because they are big scorers, and stoppers don't necessarily get their recognition and the stuff that's due. And I'm sure the first person to tell you that a stopper is important is the goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
And seems like you've been doing a pretty good job for Oakland Mills. He's not going to disagree. He's so modest. He's just that way. Go to your right. Clint PA, how are you?
Fine, how you doing?
Good. I'm great. Couldn't be better. Tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Well, I've been on the team since a freshman, and I'm in the midfield. I'm a central midfielder. Basically, my job is to control the game, dictate the pace, and be a leader on and off the field, and basically score goals and help with the offense.
And since it's your job to score goals, right offhand, you know how many you've scored? Of course you do.
Offhand, what do I have? 7, I think. Yeah, I think so. 7.
Coach?
I think.
It's somewhere like in the.
Yeah.
I know he's scored in a lot of games, different games.
Mm-hmm. What's been your best game to date? Where you felt like you played the best?
Probably a game versus Kennedy, where I scored 2 goals, and I thought I played well then.
Mm-hmm.
Felt good about that game. Yeah.
And to your right is Malcolm Gillian.
Yeah, I'm a third-year varsity letterman, and I'm forward central midfield.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I
So
basically
you
play.
get a little bit of everything. You get defense, offense, everything.
Yeah, not much defense, mostly offense.
Now your position is a position on a soccer team that the people need to have the most speed on. Is that right?
I'm not really fast, but speed's needed for that position, but I really don't have it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I thought that maybe you might
No.
be there. I guess that wasn't fair to put you on the spot like that. But anyway, well, you guys have come from a really great soccer tradition. You know, Oakland Mills has always been a super team, and you're proving again this year. Although when you look at the standings and Oakland Mills has got 2 losses, sometimes Oakland Mills doesn't see 2 losses in 2 seasons. I'll give you a chance to comment.
The comment that I would say would be that the Howard County programs have gotten to the point, Centennial as well as Howard as well as Oakland Mills, that we have been so successful that we don't fear playing anybody. So as a result, if you look at who Centennial has been playing, I'll tell you what they've played. 1 is Howard, 2 this week is us. I believe 4th is, they're 3rd. 4th is Severna Park. They've played them and beaten them. 5th is Delaney. They've played them and beaten them. If you go to Howard's schedule, okay, Howard has beaten Kennedy, who was their co-champion last year with the state playoffs. They have played and beaten Bel Air, okay, and if they've played Calvert Hall and defeated them. Well, all 3 of us have defeated Calvert Hall. And if you look at the people who were scheduling, you know, it's bound to happen that you know, on any given day in high school sports and that you can be beat one way or the other. However, the other thing is to go through the county like Howard did last year and go through the entire schedule and still remain undefeated. You know, is a heck of an achievement to do.
I understand because of the playoff system the way it is, there was an original fear that a much weaker team from Carroll County was going to outpoint some of our better teams in the playoff picture, but that didn't happen because this week one of those teams lost.
Yeah, Westminster beat North Carroll 2-1. So the way it is right now, if we win our remaining 2 games, okay, we will be able to outpoint North Carroll.
Okay, now which you will be paired up against Centennial in the States, is that right?
And not necessarily.
Okay, well what I'm saying is that you guys are in the same size classification.
As well as Howard
As
also.
well as Howard. So all 3 of you are going to have to fight it out for that one state playoff spot.
That's true.
Not very fair. But there's no other way to do it, is
That's
there?
true. That's true. When the state sets it up, they don't take into consideration the soccer program. They take into consideration the 20-odd different sports or whatever it is. So although, it might be the wrong deal in soccer in that they take into consideration all the other sports and they just place them according to the classification of how many students are in the building and go from there.
Okay, now, guys, before you get to put that state championship trophy in the Oakland Mills Hall with all the rest of those big trophies, you're going to have to beat Howard somewhere down the line again, or Centennial. Okay, how's it going to happen? What do you got to do differently? You guys, give us some insights about how you felt about those games, if you felt like you gave it everything you had, or what you could do differently to beat them. Clint, looks like you got an answer on the way out.
Basically, we have to be a little bit more mentally prepared and smarter during the game. Against Howard, we had the lead, and basically, we weren't mentally tough. We didn't protect that lead, and I give them all the credit in the world. I mean, they came back, scored 2 goals, and stopped us from scoring. So, I mean, basically, we have to be a little smarter about going about the games in the end long run. So, I don't think we have to change that much.
You looking forward to playing them again, Sean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which one would you rather face? Create a little controversy here.
Uh,
Who do you think's the harder team to beat? Not that either of them are easy to beat, but who do you think's the harder team to beat of the 2?
I think probably Howard. Basically, just from going from the 2 games that we played, I think they're just a tougher team.
Malcolm, how about you? Which one do you get more psyched up for?
Well, I got psyched up for both games, but more so Howard, since they defeated us 7-1 last year. It was a pretty embarrassing defeat. We still haven't beat them, but we're looking forward to playing them again.
Now you guys are all seniors,
Right.
right? And anybody thinking about playing college soccer next year? If so, where?
I'm definitely playing college soccer. I'm not sure where. Probably on the East Coast, Central, somewhere around there. I don't have any school specifically known yet.
How about you, Clint?
Yeah, I'm looking probably to probably go in the ACC and play somewhere, like maybe a Duke or Virginia.
Great.
Yeah.
Malcolm?
I'm going to play college soccer, but I'm not really sure where. I'd really like to play, but I don't know where yet.
How many kids would you say roughly come out of your program play college soccer?
Oh, I'll tell you what. We graduated 3 last year. 2 out of the 3 are playing. David DiDamaso is playing at Ohio State, and Chris Taylor is playing at Grove City in Pennsylvania. The year before that would be the undefeated state championship team with Brian Busey. I think we graduated 14, and I believe 11 out of the 14 are playing. To go back to the Howard game, the night that we played Howard and lost 3-2, I think there was anywhere in the vicinity of 15 to 20 coaches that were there. So, I mean, Penn State was there, Syracuse was there, University of Hartford was there, Lafayette was there. Drexel's coach was there this Saturday when we played Centennial. So, I mean, there's an awful lot of coaches in that come to the games. And from the coaching point of view, from the player point of view, we were real pleased with the Howard game. The 5 goals in that was very, very entertaining. Obviously, it wasn't too pleasing from our point of view that we lost 3-2. However, almost every coach I talked to, Duke's coach was up to see Clint play. And I can go on and on with the different coaches in that were here. But almost every one of them commented on the atmosphere of the crowd, 2,000 to 3,000 people in the crowd, and as well as, the athletes that were out on the field. And everybody was, all the coaches that I talked to were very, very pleased and, highly recommended coming back to recruit Howard County players.
Well, it looks like it can't get anything but better because it seems like we're going to get a soccer field, a good soccer stadium, sometime within the next 2 years because of the Maryland Bays. And I'm sure that's something you're going to look forward to.
Well, that was the first comment out of the Duke coach that he said was when he was, watching Clint, was if he can control the ball on this bowling alley, on this bad of a field.
Where was the field? Which field was it?
At Howard.
Okay.
If he can control the ball in this bowling alley, then obviously he'll be able to control it on an ACC field. And basically, that's the biggest difference between people that watch the club teams play and watch the high school, is that the fields that we're playing on are not soccer fields. They are football fields, and there is absolutely no width whatsoever. So it makes it a faster game. It makes it a more closer game type thing than it would if you were to go out and watch a game on Sunday, because the majority of the fields in that are way wider. We call them bowling alleys here.
Well, that's not meant to be a reflection on the people who take care of the fields because they do the best they can. But if you could have a field used every single night for some different kind of activity, there's just not much grass in the middle by the end of a season. And certainly they're not very wide. Personally, now see, that's a difference. Now, my cameraman Alejandro's from Mexico, so he loves World Cup. He likes wide open action. He likes everything. Me, I watch the Bays, bang them off the walls, hit each other, score lots of goals, have a good time. And but obviously you guys are much more purists about that kind of stuff. Tell us, guys, you got a couple more games coming up. How tough is it to get up for those games when you're not playing, a team that really is formidable? It's a little difficult to get yourself mentally ready to play some of the teams that aren't quite as good. What do you think, Malcolm?
Well, we have to win because if we don't win those 2 games, we're not in the state playoffs. So if we can't get up for those, we shouldn't be in the state playoffs. So we really have to.
So you will be.
Yeah.
And Clint, I'll tell you what, if Duke's looking at you, that's not a shabby academic school either.
No, sure isn't.
Not bad. Well, we hope you make it, and we wish you the best of luck. I want to thank these guys for coming on with us tonight, Malcolm Gilliam, Clint P.A., and Sean Ray, who are members of the Oakland Mills soccer team. And I want to congratulate you guys on pulling it together and having a good season, despite some adversity that you couldn't do anything about, especially you, Coach Shea, because you're on the way to another winning season. Now, tell us about next year. What do we got coming back? Anything?
Well, we graduate 15 seniors,
Yee.
and but we're carrying 29 on the team, so we'll still have 14 coming back. From what I can see, maybe 2 starters. However, there's been a lot of players in that have been able to play against other teams. And usually what we try doing is if we get up by 2 goals in that, usually we try to play, a number of players. I know we used, 27, 28 different players against Kennedy in the 3-0 win. And we used everybody against Loyola the first game of the year. We used everybody against Calvert Hall. So basically we try to, play the younger ones so that every year you get replenished type thing.
Is there anybody out of county you think that's better than? Do you believe, for example, that Bowie's a better team than you were? They happened to beat you when you met each other. You're down a couple players. They continue to get the top ranking. You don't. Does it bug you?
No, not at all, because
Are they a better team than you are?
no. I mean, we were missing 5 players that day. In fact, anybody who went to the game, we were extremely unlucky. We hit the post twice and we hit the crossbar once, and we got beat 2-0. We gave up the second goal with I think a minute and a half left after we were pushing everybody forward in that. But on that given day, they were the better team, and you have to give them credit that they've been able to go undefeated all the way through.
Now they're in a larger size classification than you are, so you won't meet them again.
No.
That's a shame.
But we have Howard and Centennial, so
No, I'm just talking strictly from a revenge factor.
Right.
And obviously, there's not going to be anybody of their caliber to beat them to the end of the year, which gives us the opportunity to weasel in from the back door maybe in the rankings and the attention of people because of the head-to-head competition that's already happened.
Usually, once you have a tie or you have a loss, usually you're not going to get anywhere near the top 10 as far as the USA Today.
I was talking more in terms of Washington Post.
Oh,
I just like to have
sorry.
local respect. I don't
I'm
figure we're ever
sorry.
going to get too much national respect, but but maybe with the Dante Washingtons coming out, with Todd Haskins, and it's going to make it a little bit easier for people to start looking at us first instead of having to fight to look towards us. And you and Bill and Rudy have done a lot to promote that, and we appreciate that.
Well, the Atherton program now is being ranked in the Washington Post, and Reg Hahn has done a real good job with them. They are very young. Look for them next year to do real well.
Yeah, we get a lot of stuff at school about Atherton's team. Everything that Corey Hunter does, we hear about big time. Okay, well, we'll be back in the second half of the show to introduce you to a new member of the Sports Scene 6 staff with some interesting stuff that's going to be happening around the county. So we'll be right back.
The Greyhound shut down nutrition by the Council of Chief State School Officers. Carol Cobb of Elkridge Elementary School was a recent winner of WJZ-TV's Thanks to Teachers campaign. And Reva Main, cafeteria manager at Wild Lake Middle School, received the Silver Success Award of Excellence from the Howard County School Food Service Association. Now for the outstanding male and female student athletes of the week. This week's recipients are Malcolm Gillian, forward for the Oakland Mills soccer team, who scored 2 crucial goals in a 4-2 victory over Centennial High. In his last 3 games, Malcolm has scored 7 goals. And Lisa Tannehill of Centennial High's volleyball team, who recorded 19 consecutive serves in a recent win over Wild Lake. Of those 19 serves, Lisa had 13 straight service